as we've heard over the last hour or so, there are very substantial issue differences between President Obama and Mitt Romney on a range of issues. Of those differences, which do you think will be the most important in shaping the general election campaign? Kevin?
I think it will come down to, first of all, let me thank everybody for being here, and I really want to thank Joel and Peter. It's been a pleasure to be with Joel's one of the best in the business, and so is Peter. So I'm very grateful to be up here with them. And Ron is, as we all know, one of the best journalists in the business, and bothers me with phone calls. So it's nice to do this in public.
Yes,
so
exactly.
I can, usually I can
push back harder.
Usually I can just cover the phone and just roll my eyes, but now I can't. I think it really does come down to the view of the role of government. And I think if you look at the economic debate, if we look at the healthcare debate that we've had in 2010, and I expect that we'll continue to have in 2012, I think also with the recent arguments about free enterprise and the governor's background and comparing it and contrasting it with the president's experiences before he became president, I think the role of government is going to be one of the big differences. Fundamentally, Republicans believe, and Governor Romney believes, that the role of the government is to encourage and incentivize the private sector and individuals in the spirit of American entrepreneurism to help grow the economy in America to prosper. Whereas we see the Obama worldview as being one where the government has a central role in deciding the winners and losers in the economy and a central role in the American individual's life. And I think if you look at all those debates, the economy, healthcare, even sometimes issues like obviously other issues that are going to be important related to the economy like energy, I think it's a similar contrast that we have.
Joel, what's the most important difference that voters are going to be
I think the most
around?
important difference, and it's proving itself more stark every day, is what are the values that inform the vision that each of these men bring to the case. And because of that, it's going to come down to who is going to basically fight on behalf of the people who've been struggling the most, who've been fighting hardest to get back to where they were before this economic crash happened, and who's going to create an economy that's built to last, that's going to restore middle-class security, and do that through smart investments in entrepreneurship and small business and manufacturing and education and research and development, so that the folks who used to be able to climb up from the working class to the middle class can do so again. And I think that those values, that contrast is pretty stark. I think they take two approaches. President Obama very clearly believes that we need to have an economy that gives everyone a fair shot and everyone does a fair share. Mitt Romney, through his life and his career in business and as governor and his policies, is very clearly believes that if we take care of those at the top, that's what we have to do and everything else will take care of itself. And it hasn't worked.
Peter, you just heard an incredibly efficient summary of kind of the ideological frame. There are other frames, but the ideological frame that each side wants to put on the election. Whose side are you on? Versus is government the problem or the solution? Which is are either one of those frames inherently more relevant to voters, especially swing voters?
I think they're two sides of the same coin, frankly. Let me do one thing first, though. I need to thank the National Journal for giving me a PhD. Yeah. In this era of resume enhancement, I'm going to be very clear. I don't have one. I just need to protect myself. They're two sides of the same coin. You've got the notion, the way Kevin expressed it, which is this is about the role of government. That Joel says this is about who's on your side. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. This is about the economy. The economy, one of my stock lines is the economy is issue 1 through 129. Everything else is after that. But the economy is a lot of stuff. It's unemployment. It's the debt. It's health care. It's a whole host of things. And what Kevin and Joel did is just give you, as Ron said, the ideological spin from both sides on how you argue the economy. But it's the economy. And you don't have to be stupid to think that.
Is either one inherently more persuasive? Does either one inherently matter more to voters, especially swing voters? Is it the ideological role of government or the question of who's on, or either one of those inherently a more persuasive way?
No, I think what's more persuasive is what voters think will work. And this is about, often elections and swing states are about who's closer to the ideological center. Some elections are like that, others are not. This is one where swing voters will be moved not by ideology, but by who they think can solve their problems.